YouTube, man, what is going on? It's LNH back with another video, and today, man, I gotta break it down for you. Why Bronny James' projection is going to be a lot better than people are giving him credit for right now. And of course, I gotta mix in Amari Bailey with it, and I have to comment on this poll that I put out yesterday, and you guys went crazy on it, so I'm gonna drop it down and let you guys know what's up with that. Now, first and foremost, man, whenever we talk about Bronny James, man, you have to look at where he's coming from. This guy most likely is going to have insane genetics just when he gets a tad bit older. Of course, him being around 16 as of right now, in the next 2 years, this guy is going to have a ton of room to develop and grow. Of course, just coming off of an injury. And man, his biggest critique, in my opinion, right now is one, of course, the comparisons that people make of him. Now, of course, whenever you have your father and he's in the NBA, the comparisons that you're going to have and the expectations that are made for you compared to other players who are not in that similar situation is going to be insane. Think about it. People are comparing Bronny to how good LeBron was at this age instead of just comparing him to what he actually is and how good of a basketball player he is and just looking at him for what he looks like right now. Of course, even Zaire Wade goes through the same exact thing. Everyone compares him to who? Of course, Dwayne Wade. But there's a little interesting comparison here that I really found was a great insight as to why Bronny James, in my opinion, will be a lot better than what people give him credit for. Now, we have to look at one of Bronny James' teammates, and it's Amari Bailey. Now, Amari Bailey, of course, has been playing on Sierra Canyon since about he was in 9th grade, and this guy is doing very well this year. Actually broke the scoring record for the school. I believe he scored around 40-something points in one of their Sierra Canyon games, and I gotta be honest, he was the leader of that team. Even back when Bronny was playing with him before the season actually did shut down, this dude was clearly the leader, and in my opinion, I had never seen him play so well. He looked very aggressive on the court, but there's something that a lot of people are not noticing about this situation. Now, of course, what the fact here is Amari Bailey was not always like this. Even back in the day, Amari Bailey was not the star of the team. Amari Bailey was playing with a ton of very good players and excellent scores on his team. Of course, you guys know Brandon Boston was there back in the day, and you had Zaire Williams, Zaire Wade was there at one point. You had a ton of these scores here, and when you have a lot of these scores, it's going to be tough for people like Amari Bailey to go out there and get buckets. He was not performing as well as he is currently right now. Of course, when those guys began to graduate, Amari Bailey kind of broke out of his shell, and look at this guy now. He's ranked one of the top players in his class, and of course is committed to UCLA. Now, let's take this situation and compare it to Bronny. A lot of people just for some reason do not make this type of connection, but even when we look at Bronny, man, his projections and the type of things that he should do on the court, in my opinion, should be even better than Amari Bailey. And the reason I say this is because of where he comes from. If you look at Bronny James, man, all he knows pretty much is basketball. This guy, of course, watches his father play all the time. His brother plays basketball, and he's had a lot of people around him that were very good players. Think about it. He played with Mikey Williams back in the day, played with Dior Johnson. And when you play with such good players and against such good players, eventually when you get that time to shine, although it may be late in his high school career, I think he's going to be one of the highly ranked players and one of the best ranked players in his class. If you really look at the comparisons, I think it's no doubt that this guy is going to develop and grow a ton in these next coming years. Now, think about it as well. One thing that we always talk about with any type of recruit, regardless of who you are, is your height and build. These are things that you cannot control, but honestly are fundamental and are really important when you're getting to the next level. You guys know by now, honestly, in my opinion, the minimum for NBA guard on average is probably you got to be above 6'3" or above, and you got to weigh and be pretty strong on the court. Now, if we just look at Bronny James' genetics, odds are this is what's going to happen to him. He's going to get a lot taller, even taller than what he currently is right now. He's probably going to gain some weight and even fill out more than he is. And of course, I'm not saying gaining weight to actually get big, but gaining weight and getting stronger. Now, Bryce James even looks like that right now, and that's why a lot of people are betting on him. But man, I think a lot of people are tending to sleep on Bronny as of right now. Of course, those genetics are going to kick in, and I think he's going to be an athletic specimen. Now, of course, even a lot of people know Bronny James actually had received an offer from Duke back in the day. and I'm interested as to where he will be going now. If you take a look at it, of course, Coach K actually announced he is going to be retiring, and that's huge. Honestly, in my opinion, that's all I've known at Duke, and I've seen him there for such a long time. It's crazy, in my opinion, that he's actually leaving Duke. Now, this means odds are Bronny James is not going to want to go there. They had a pretty strong connection, and it seems like Bronny James, of course, probably was interested somewhat going to that school because they've developed so many players. And you know, Coach K is an excellent coach, has developed a ton of people to get to the NBA. And you guys know there's so many names that have come from Duke and actually been really successful at the next level. Now, in addition to this growth and development, of course, this is going to change one huge thing: Bronny James's projection. Whenever you look at a player's height, weight, and their current talent, that's how you're going to project them and say, okay, maybe they'll end up going to this school or that school. But of course, this changes when, one, you have any type of growth spurt, and two, your game improves dramatically. Of course, we haven't seen Bronny play in a minute now because he has been injured, and we're really waiting to see, is this guy going to pan out to that star player, or is he just going to be a flop, or maybe just not as good as our current expectations of him? But man, I say give him a couple years and he is going to shock a ton of people. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think about Bronny James's current projection and what's going on with his injury and how he will play, if he does play in AAU, or even when he goes back and starts playing next season at Sierra Canyon. Of course, there's a good chance he's going to be the man on the court, but only time will tell, and we'll just have to wait and see. Now, I actually put out a recent poll just yesterday, and this, in my opinion, was crazy. Now, I asked this question right here. I said 1v1 Dior Johnson versus Isaiah Washington, because I did make a video on them yesterday. Go check that out if you have not watched that. And I said, who do you have? Who do you think is going to win? And this vote was insane. I gotta be honest here, this was crazy. Now, we have 72% for Dior Johnson, while 28% voted Isaiah Washington. We have just around 3,000 votes. Now, this is crazy in my opinion, and a lot of you guys are even commenting this. It really should not be this unbalanced. Now, I'm very curious why you guys would take Dior over Isaiah Washington. I know a ton of you have and actually watched this dude play for a while now, but I'm very curious because honestly, Isaiah Washington, of course, him being a college guard and has been around for a while. He was ranked pretty highly in high school, of course, a top 100 recruit, while Dior is much higher recruit than he was at the time. But even then, of course, Isaiah Washington is actually a college guard and just graduated and put his name into the NBA draft. So I'm very surprised why people ranked it, why really people thought that Dior Johnson would win this 1v1. I think it would be crazy to see, because both of them have a ton of moves in their bag. Being so shifty and just being able to get to the hoop very easily, I think they're both highly skilled. But man, I'm surprised it is this uneven at this point. They both have so much talent and skill. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, why do you think Dior Johnson would beat Isaiah Washington in a 1v1? Are they sleeping on the jelly? In my opinion, low-key, you're sleeping on him. But let me know in the comments down below. Man, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications to get a new notification every time I upload a new video. Appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in. All right, it's LNH, I'm out.